is Judy Mahan. I run the incubator program for Cal Poly CIE. That's the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. And I'm also the director of the Small Business Development Center in downtown San Luis Obispo. So the CIE incubator program is a 2-year program. We invite startups to apply, we review their applications. If it's a good fit, we're looking for startups that are focused on tech and innovation. They have dedicated office space here at the Slow Hot House. And when they graduate from that 2-year program, we are hoping that they will stay in San Luis Obispo, that they'll be able to create high-paying tech jobs within our region. So something that's really important to note, companies that apply, startups that apply, founders, entrepreneurs, do not have to have an affiliation with Cal Poly. They will benefit from the resources that we have, but they don't need to have graduated from Cal Poly. They don't need to have any connection whatsoever. We have established long-term relationships with angel groups. We also collaborate with venture firms, and we prep our companies so well that typically when we introduce them to these funding sources for them to obtain capital to fund their startups, they pay attention. We only present companies that are extremely well prepared to pitch their investors. They've got traction and they're ready to accept funding and to grow to that next level. We're able to provide our startups amazing resources. We have 20,000 square feet downtown. 5,000 square feet of that is completely dedicated to our hardware companies. They have a dry lab space to prototype, to build product. We have a partnership with the makerspace so that our companies can access all of the equipment there to do first runs of manufacturing. We're in partnership with it's called the Small Business Development Center. It's tech accredited. So the SBDC has tech resources to support tech companies. We have a consultant we can tap into to offer one-on-one coaching to the startup. We also have an amazing mentor group of Cal Poly alums who volunteer their time to support these startups that are in our program. They want to see these startups succeed here locally in San Luis Obispo. So when companies apply to be part of the program, we're looking for companies that have the capacity to be high growth, to be able to scale. Because the ultimate goal really here is local economic development. We've accepted startups from any industry, and now we feel completely ready to create additional resources, additional expertise, additional support for very specific verticals. This is just the start. This is what will diversify our local economy and create just amazing, interesting, high-paying jobs for people locally.
entrepreneurs, challenges are inevitable. Issues are accounted for. Hurdles are expected. Even the unexpected obstacles are expected. That's why resilience is everything. You don't stop when a door closes. You find the open one. You don't quit when you're told no. You find the yes. And you don't give up when something seems off. You pivot. Because us entrepreneurs, us innovators, we're resilient. We see issues as motivation. We see hurdles as ways to jump higher. And we see obstacles as signposts guiding us where we need to go next. There's a reason we're called forward thinkers. It's not just because we think into the future. It's because we're always thinking about moving forward. We don't just think about moving forward. We actually move forward. We go. We do. We work. We stay resilient. Because when things seem hard, confusing, impossible, or unprecedented, we remember what brought us here. We remind ourselves that on the other side of these hurdles is the reason we started. Regardless of what life throws our way, the reason we started is the same reason why startups don't stop. Because us entrepreneurs, us innovators, we are resilient.
We're Pacific Premier Bank, and we're just like every other bank. Look, there's two people shaking hands. Here's some scenes of people collaborating to show that we are collaborative. There's a person talking on the phone. You've heard it all and seen it all before, right?
Can I help you?
I'm from Pacific Premier Bank, and I'm here to see if we can help you. It's not what you say, it's what you do, and we do things differently.
We live in a rapidly evolving world. And as our world continues to change, so do the problems we face. In order to solve these problems, we require new solutions. It's clear that in order to make serious change, we need innovative ideas and disruptive actions. And it's us entrepreneurs and innovators whose work is rooted in that mission. We take the problems that people and our planet are facing and find ways to better the situations. We don't just learn from the past, we plan for the future. And when presented with a challenge, we don't give up. By revolutionizing technology and science, we think outside the box, step away from the status quo, and create lasting change. Because progress is impossible without change. And when we innovate a more efficient product today, we forge the blueprint for a better tomorrow. Here at the Cal Poly Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, we know that even the smallest changes can make a big difference. Our entrepreneurs and innovators think global and act local to build a better tomorrow. We see a world suffering from environmental issues, so we focus on environmental restoration, utilizing materials we use every day to rebuild our ecosystems.
We are a one-for-one sustainable packaging company, and with each product served, we plan to plant at a local restoration site.
We create products that not only convert energy, but allow you to convert to a more sustainable lifestyle.
NeoCharge is an electric vehicle charging company. Our first product is a smart adapter to save electric vehicle owners money.
We don't just think about conservation. We develop ways to monitor it and make our customers feel like they are a part of the solution.
We realized that there was a massive drought happening in California. There was no way for consumers to really understand their water usage, and we wanted to find a way of providing them with that data, the very simple to install product.
We revolutionize existing markets to encourage sustainable consumerism.
The Future is Good is a benefit corporation with a mission of making it simple and intuitive to live and shop sustainably.
And we find ways to comply with environmental regulations and make protecting the environment simple.
Our mission is to assist in the enhancement and protection of our natural resources by building the best-in-class go-to digital platform for collecting, managing, and reporting on environmental data.
We're not just innovating to earn profits. The work that we do is about a greater mission. It's about reimagining the world we live in and reshaping the future. For you, for us, for the planet.
I'm just going to start. If they, what's that? Oh, perfect. Okay. Okay, welcome to AngelCon 2023. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. We are starting the event. I know it's strange, there's no music, it's just me talking. Our event is hybrid tonight. So thank you to all of you who are joining us online. My name is Judy Mayhem. I'm the Senior Economic Development Director of the Cal Poly CIE, the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, and the Small Business Development Center. I think I officially have the world's longest title. This is our 6th annual AngelCon. And before we jump in, I'm excited to share some updates with you. So over the past 12 years, the CIE has helped launch hundreds of startups on campus through various entrepreneurship programs supporting graduating students. The CIE has also accomplished tremendous work off campus, supporting thousands of local businesses through our incubator program and the Small Business Development Center, located at the Hot House downtown. Tonight, I'd like to take a moment to recognize and thank our San Luis Obispo County Board of Supervisors. I am extremely pleased to have this opportunity to highlight the phenomenal support we received last fall from our county, a $1.2 million grant from ARPA funding. And I think we have Supervisor Paulding, Jimmy Paulding. Can I do a shout out? Thank you so much. We are truly honored in the trust you have put in our organization and look forward to achieving our common economic development goals for our county. So, this grant is allowing us to launch and grow our new outreach centers. One located in Paso Robles with an incubator program focused on ag-tech, and one located in Grover Beach with an incubator program focused on aerospace and aeronautics, as well as 2 more new programs, one focused on medtech and one on clean tech. All locations will provide on-site SBDC services for the business community in that area. The SBDC has had an incredible year in 2022, and I also want to take a quick moment to share our 2022 milestones. We supported 800 active clients in our region, from startups to larger scaling companies. We helped our clients create 241 jobs in San Luis Obispo County, as well as retain 3,381 jobs. We helped our clients obtain $26 million in capital funding in both equity funding deals and bank loans. Interestingly, 75% of that capital came from angel groups and venture firms. We see it as our role to support that activity in any way we can, notably through AngelCon. So how does AngelCon work? Every October, we invite local accredited investors who have never before been part of an angel group to invest in our fund, learn about startup investing, and make one annual investment in one regional startup. And by the way, we'll be starting this process again next August. So if any of you are interested after this event, please come talk to me. We meet monthly for 6 months to hear from brilliant speakers and experts from Silicon Valley who share their best practices for reviewing startup pitches, for doing due diligence, for negotiating deal terms. And in January, we typically have anywhere between 20 to 40 startups who apply to be considered by our AngelCon investor group. The investors pick their top 12 startups that we run through a pretty grueling process, including a 6-week pitch prep bootcamp, out of which only 6 startups are selected by our investors for tonight's event. So, the purpose of AngelCon is threefold. We train new investors to invest in startups. We create access to capital for our startups. And then we create this event to showcase some of the most brilliant upcoming entrepreneurs that we have in our region. Another overarching goal is to enable the creation of angel groups who remain active throughout the year and for years to come. Last year, we were really proud to announce the formation of Central Coast Ventures, based locally here in San Luis Obispo. And I know that there's a number of members from Central Coast Ventures here tonight. Thank you for coming. The creation of CCV came as a direct result of our partnership with Slow Seed Ventures and the AngelCon pipeline that we created to engage with local investors who regrouped to launch CCV. Central Coast Ventures is a 30-plus member group of investors now with diverse domains of expertise. They share an interest in supporting the vision and growth of innovative companies connected to the Central Coast. CCV is a successor organization to Slow Seeds, the first original angel investor group that was also based in San Luis Obispo. Since its formation in late 2022, Central Coast Ventures has funded 5 companies already and will announce 2 more companies in June. Those investments total over $700,000. So in addition to our partnership with CCV, we continue to actively collaborate with many existing groups, Current Venture Group, Entrada Ventures, Santa Barbara Angel Alliance, to name a few. And we're so thankful for their engagement and their support of what we're accomplishing here on the Central Coast. Now, for some analytics. In the past, we have seen that each year, on average, our top 6 startups raise over $2 million in capital funding just within 12 months after this event. However, this year, the average has increased significantly. Mason, a 2018 finalist of AngelCon, raised $12 million just 4 years after they participated in AngelCon. Authenticate, a 2020 finalist, just closed their $3 million round just a few months ago. So, we started with $100,000 in the fund our first and second year. The third year we raised $120,000. Year 4, $145,000. And last year, a record-breaking $205,000. $135,000 of that amount was invested in AcreCloud, and $70,000 was invested in Novocuff. You will hear updates from AcreCloud's co-founder, Jim Kogan, and from Donald Lee, co-founder of Novocuff, later this evening. Other past winners, Dioro Devices, Atlas Alpha, and Tally4, are all growing and scaling and going strong. So our investors are making good bets on these companies. This year, we had 21 investors on board. For those of you who are here tonight, please stand up. I know we have investors in the room. This group, as of 48 hours ago, committed $140,000 to this year's fund. Let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you. Let's see. So, we've had an amazing group of investors this year. They've been working really diligently over the past 4 months to evaluate the top 6 finalists that are pitching tonight. And we couldn't do any of this, of course, without our sponsors. So thank you to our presenting sponsor, Pacific Premier Bank, and to our supporting sponsors and partners. We generally could not accomplish this without you. This event is an opportunity for us to showcase Central California as the entrepreneurship hub that it has truly become for startups in tech and innovation. Thank you all for supporting these phenomenal entrepreneurs. So before our top 6 finalists start their pitches, I wanted to go over a few ways you can all participate to this event tonight. For everyone joining us on YouTube, please use the chat located on the right side of the screen. Tell us where you're joining us from and feel free to give shout outs to the finalists. Tonight, our investor group will be selecting the winner of AngelCon 2023, but we're also inviting all of you to vote for your favorite startup that will receive the Audience Choice Award. Voting will open after all the startups have pitched, and only those of you who actually registered before today, we needed your email address, and provided that unique email address, will be able to participate for the Audience Choice Award. Not only can you vote, but you can also all donate to the GoFundMe campaign. This GoFundMe campaign supports the startup that will win the Audience Choice Award. Thank you, Pacific Premier Bank, for also supporting the GoFundMe campaign. Instructions on how to donate will be up on your screen for those of you who are online. And for those of you who are in person, if you look at the handouts that we provided when you checked in, there's a QR code on your cards, and you can use the QR code to donate to the GoFundMe campaign. Last year we raised $1,000, and we'll keep you updated as to how much we're raising throughout the evening. Help us beat that amount this year, please. Okay, so now that the logistics are taken care of, we're also, we're excited to present our first startup. Zoetic Motion, please help me welcome Zishan Khan.
Thank you. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Judy. How are we doing, AngelCon? Doing well? Yeah, I heard some moves. Okay, exciting. Awesome. Well, great to meet you all. My name is Zishan Khan, and I'm the founder of Zoetic Motion. We are an AI-based mobility support platform tackling the needs of physical therapy. We chose the name Zoetic because Zoetic means all about life. And what better way to think about life than in motion? The problem that we're really focusing on is the fact that there's almost a $40 billion expenditure every year on physical therapy alone. Yet, at the end of that program, 1 in 3 patients is dissatisfied or still in pain. And this expenditure is further worsened by the fact that 30% of patients end up quitting during their recovery treatment program due to their perceived progress. And this all boils down to a number of core issues, mainly looking at patient education and adherence. We want our patients to stay adhering to their home exercise routines, specifically because if you don't make your progress, if you don't keep your progress going, your insurance limits you. They limit how much that you can go to your PT. And finally, if a PT is not able to progress you through your recovery cycle, it leads to a financial impact on them as well. So I'm sure all of us in the room have seen a piece of paper just like this. I, for one, am definitely someone who's been a patient in physical therapy that's been handed a piece of paper with a couple of exercises on it and a couple of notes on it. However, this is boring, this is unengaging, and if you're like me, you probably lost that piece of paper. So Zoetic Motion is tackling a new solution. What we're doing is we're offering an AI-based coaching system that guides patients through their home exercise routine while giving them the real-time feedback necessary to prevent further injury and to increase their progress. And ultimately, what's unique about us is we've gamified the experience. We include worlds, levels, and challenges that encourage patients to adhere to their home exercises and to really focus on their recovery while having some fun. So how does it all work? Zoetic Motion is a twofold solution. What we offer is a mobile phone application for our patients. They go ahead and log in, they see a quick agenda of what they're expected to do, and then when you click start, you actually see a quick demo of the exercise, so you know what you have to do. And then you see yourself in the camera, getting real-time feedback based on your exercise performance. And before you're all done, you actually have the opportunity to share some feedback in the moment with your physical therapist. So we make sure to have a connected experience to recovery. And also, a big part of this picture is we are supporting physical therapists themselves, the clinicians as well. We designed a web portal that not only allows clinicians to see an overview of how all of their patients are doing, but also it allows clinicians to focus on auto documentation. So when you're looking at progress, when you're measuring quantitative metrics for data, and the things that insurance companies really going to hound you down on, for a PT, we make sure that that process is simplified and we track the data necessary. The immediate opportunity we're extremely excited by is the fact that there's a need. There's an underserved market in the United States. Specifically, we're talking about pelvic floor health. Why I say this is because there are only 40,000 pelvic floor physical therapists, PFPT, in the United States. 40,000 for the entire US. Yet, 1 in 3 women will experience some form of pelvic floor disorder annually in the US. And ultimately, it leads to a big challenge with insurance as well. The cost often supersedes what you actually are limited for. And so Zoetic Motion offers a completely new solution for accessible and engaging recovery. We make sure that we get you through your recovery routine while making the knowledge easy, accessible, and friendly to you. So finally, what we're doing is making sure that not only are we tackling patient outcomes, but also clinical experience as well. So our business model, it's simple. We're offering a B2B2C solution. We're using our physical therapist as our main customer and having our platform prescribed then on. And what this really has led us to an exciting opportunity is we've discovered a CPT, patient reimbursement code, that allows for the reimbursement of a time that a patient spends on the Zoetic Motion platform, and that reimbursement goes to the physical therapist. So being that the PT prescribes our platform to their patient, we actually have the opportunity to give PTs a little bit back to support their bottom line. And ultimately, as I was just mentioning, our revenue model, a simple base subscription system. We've done a lot of market research with a number of clinicians, and we've determined our structure to be based on the number of clinics. So first off, we offer a solution just for one clinic. Then we go to multiple clinics. We also have the opportunity to connect and work with commercial physical therapists and the university level as well. And finally, what's really exciting for us is that once you've completed your physical therapy, all that data, that important information that's personalized just to you, you have the ability to stay on Zoetic Motion and continue your mobility maintenance by independently subscribing to our solution. And of course, there are a number of competitors that are trying to make some traction in this market, but Zoetic Motion is unique in two main ways. We do not require any additional sensors to be used in our solution, which means it's just as simple as using your personal device, your mobile phone. And a big part of our process is we're gamifying the experience with real challenges, real worlds, real levels, apart from competitors who are mainly just focusing on ranking you against your age and gender. So a sensorless solution that gamifies recovery, improves outcomes, and focuses on giving back to clinics as well. And a little bit about our traction and roadmap. We actually got our start, our inception, out of my senior project actually, with Dr. Tom Katona. And that was when we got started in our hardware solution. What started off as Muscle Ninja later entered the CIE Summer Accelerator. By the end of that program, we have now pivoted to Zoetic Motion. Over the course of 2021 to 2022, I actually had the opportunity to work with my master's program in computer science, and I combined the work of Zoetic Motion with my thesis defense. And one of the big things that we're looking forward to is moving forward towards our pilot launch. So this July, we are working with a number of physical therapists and their patients to get our product in their real hands. Specifically, over the last 6 months alone, we've talked to 140 physical therapists, a specific number of them being pelvic floor specialists. Additionally, 7 of those we've shortlisted as our advisors for our design. 3 of them have committed to our pilot, and the rest have now been pushed to a wait list so we can maintain our demand. Ultimately, why we're here today, we are seeking an ask of $300,000. Not only would this allow me to take my part-time team full-time, but it focuses on our main goals, which are expediting our development to de-risk this product. We are on track to prove product market fit, and we need the support necessary to not only work on our compliance and regulatory needs, for example, HIPAA and FDA Class 1, but also work on building our team, our culture, and our company. And of course, our team is so honored to be here today. As you all know, my name is Zishan. I'm the founder of Zoetic Motion, and personally, I'm very thrilled to be with you all today. And my team is a big help to getting us here. So I'd like to thank Travis Page. He is our business development director with a background in medical device startups and actually has his own exit as well. Additionally, Sahil Sharma, our human motion and mechanics lead, working on a background of biomedical engineering and electrical engineering, understanding everything there is about the human body. And we're excited to be sponsoring a couple of senior projects. So we actually have Hannah Ayashi joining us for her senior project. She is currently completing her bachelor's in computer science. And recently, just a month ago, we've onboarded Danny Lopez, our technical project manager, who has a background in cybersecurity, full stack software development, and building an amazing team culture. Finally, we are absolutely thrilled to have Dr. Brandon Sue on our team. Dr. Brandon Sue is actually a self-taught software engineer who started his career as a doctorate of physical therapy. So he now works part-time in PT and helping us out part-time as well. I really would want to take a moment just to thank our advisors who've gotten us this far. I love seeing you all in the audience, but a big shout out to our customer development advisor, Kurt Friedman, our startup advisor, Nathan Baer, our software engineering advisor, Professor BJ Klingenberg, and finally, our clinical advisor, Dr. Justin Brink. Thank you all so much for your time today. Please reach out to me if you have any connections with potential investors, potential physical therapy partners, or if you're interested in joining the team. Because remember, with Zoetic, you're never alone in your recovery at home. Thank you.
Great job, Zishan.
Thank you, Judy.
Okay, so I'm just going to take a quick moment to thank our title sponsors, Entrada Ventures, who has invested in numerous startups in our program, and Relentless Management. Relentless Venture Studio has 12 companies in its portfolio and is looking for entrepreneurs to help take these projects to market. So check out berelentless.com if you want to follow up with their co-founders. Next up, we have Chad Kim, founder and CEO of MyMetaFi. Hi, Chad.
Hello. All right, so 4 years ago, venture capitalists only invested $27 million into NFT games. But last year, they invested $7.6 billion. So my name is Chad Kim, and I'm the CEO of MyMetaFi. MyMetaFi is a marketplace that enables groups of gamers to collect, use, and trade rare gaming NFTs. Currently, rare NFTs are only accessible to the wealthy, but we make them accessible to everyone. So what's an NFT, right? It stands for non-fungible token, but I'll give you an example. So here on the left is an F-16, which is a physical asset in the real world that is unique, valuable, and useful for winning wars. Similarly, this NFT ship on the right is a digital asset in the digital world that is unique, valuable, and useful for winning battles in games, a battle like this. So here we have a bunch of NFT ships going to battle. In the current generation of games, these ships would not have the utility that players want. When purchased, only that player would be able to use the item. NFTs change this. So Star Atlas made all of their ships NFTs, and now the players can not only buy, but also sell, trade, lend, and even co-own one of these ships as a group. So in 2022, despite the fact that Star Atlas announced they won't launch for 5 years, they still sold $50 million worth of NFTs, ranging in price between $20 and $100,000. However, the average gamer can only not even afford like a $500 ship on their own, right? So I've consulted for 7 games that have generated over $1 billion in revenue. I've talked to thousands of players about the disadvantages of non-NFT gaming assets. Now that NFTs are here, players are very excited. It's just that the rare ones are often too expensive, costing thousands of dollars or more. Since these rare NFTs are very powerful, it's impossible for the average gamer to win a battle. So our solution is a marketplace that enables a group of gamers to pool money together and co-own a rare NFT. Our marketplace makes shared use of an NFT frictionless. So when the group buys one, they can take turns using it, use it as a group, or lend it to somebody else. Now, the average gamer can start winning battles. You can think of MyMetaFi.io as a cross between Kickstarter and a fractional ownership marketplace for an asset such as real estate. When you go there, you'll see a bunch of NFTs that groups of people are looking to buy. When you click on it, you'll see all of its properties, how it's used, and what makes it unique. If you're interested, you can contribute Ethereum. Once the contribution goal has been reached, the asset is purchased and the group finalizes what they want to do with it. At any point in time, you can go to your dashboard to view the value of all of your fractions. Finally, someone can propose to sell the item when they've made a profit or they're no longer interested in that game. Our target customer is billions of people like me, males under 55 years old that play video games every day, want the utility of NFT assets, believe that NFT gaming is the future, not a fad. These players want to compete at the highest level of a game, but the only way they can do that is through shared use of a rare NFT. So we plan on making money in 3 ways. First, a take rate of up to 5% for each sale. Second, an advertising package for games starting at $5,000 where they can acquire more players and sell more NFTs. And third, a $5 per month subscription for power users to unlock more benefits and features. So I know it's hard to believe that NFTs are a big market, but in 2022, $24 billion worth of NFTs were sold, and $1 billion were sold as gaming NFT fractions, so that's 4.3%. In 2030, it's projected that 231 billion of NFTs will be sold, so at that same 4.3%, we get a $9.6 billion market size. If we capture just 10% of this market over 5 years, we project $32 million in revenue. Here's the chart I mentioned in the beginning. 4 years ago, VCs only invested 27 million. Last year, 7.6 billion into NFT games or blockchain games. That's an increase of 28,000%. What this means is that over the next 1 to 3, 4, 5 years, we are going to see some incredible NFT games launching. And MyMetaFi will be ready to capture that demand. So here's a couple other examples of games. Now, all of these games are pre-launch and at most have a playable alpha, and yet they have pre-sold this much volume in NFTs. Illuvium at the top left, 92 million. Topia World's 164 million. Blocklords, 40 million. And Treeverse, 56 million. Even traditional games that don't have NFTs would kill for these kinds of numbers. So all of our competitors offer some form of fractional ownership, but we plan on differentiating in 4 ways. First, gamers love games, so we want MyMetaFi to feel like one. If you've ever played Duolingo in order to learn a language, you know what I'm talking about. That's the kind of vibe we're going for. Second, gaming NFTs are the largest and fastest growing segment, and yet there is no co-ownership platform specifically dedicated to them until us. Third is, as a centralized provider, we'll be able to reduce blockchain transaction fees by 15 to 20% in comparison to our competitors. And lastly, shared use will be frictionless because gaming NFTs are meant to be used. So we did 2 months of experimental advertising on Facebook to hone in our messaging and find our target audience. We spent $1,500 to acquire 850 emails at a cost per lead of $1.80, which is pretty low. Over the last year, we raised over $1 million to start development of MyMetaFi in December. In Q2, we want to grow our waitlist to 5,000, recruit 20 promotional ambassadors, and secure $250,000 in capital for marketing. In Q3, we'll be launching our alpha and expect to get our first 500 paying customers. So with our cash on hand, we are launching our alpha in August of this year. By January, we expect to break even with $200,000 left in the bank before this round of financing. This year, we'll have done nearly $500,000 in consulting revenue and some marketplace revenue. And over the next 5 years, we project $32 million. My co-founder and I, Matt, have been together for 8 years and sold our first startup to Netmarble FNC, a top game developer in South Korea. After the purchase, they asked us to stay on and build something in the crypto space. So we came up with MyMetaFi. This means that Netmarble FNC is our majority owner, and that gives us a financial safety net that most startups don't have because they're worth $2.2 billion. Our development team is App Inventive, who have built 18 crypto-related platforms over the last 5 years and have been helping us develop MyMetaFi since December. So Netmarble FNC has already invested over $900,000, which gives us runway for about the next year. But we both agree it's a really good idea to expand our investor network in the States so we have a group of supporters that will give us a higher chance of success in the future. That's why we are raising $250,000 on a safe note with a cap of $4 million. This should easily get us to $1 million in revenue next year. And our exit plan is that in 2 to 3 years during the next bull run, we think we can exit for $45 million to a company building or buying infrastructure for NFT games. So thanks for listening. If you're a gamer, come talk to me afterwards and we'll buy a rare NFT together on MyMetaFi.
Thank you, Chad. Okay, so remember that tonight's event is hosted by the Cal Poly CIE Small Business Development Center. We provide free business consulting and training services to any entrepreneur or business owner in San Luis Obispo County. Our next hybrid event is Coffee and Conversation on June 7th. We will have a panel of AngelCon investors share the reasons why they chose the winner, and share stories about their experience leading up to this event. So now let's hear from Adam, CEO of VLab Education. Welcome, Adam.
Hello, everyone. My name is Adam Langevin. I have 2 degrees in chemistry. I am a homeschool science teacher, and I am the founder and CEO of VLab Education. VLab Education is bringing to life interactive science experiments in virtual reality for students and educators who, by law, must perform science experiments, yet don't have access to a traditional lab environment. Now, I was very fortunate growing up to go to a private high school that could afford for us to do exciting experiments every single week, and it's a big reason why I'm a scientist today. But I was very lucky. The US is ranked 11th in the world when it comes to high school science education, due in part to budget cuts across the nation, leading to students not having access to proper equipment, chemicals, or even facilities. Now, with the emergence of VR, it has become possible to create virtual reality science experiments. In VR, we can simulate everything from a $10,000 fume hood to a multi-$100 balance, to dangerous chemicals that students would never even have the chance to see, let alone interact with. Students can now become the scientist, performing experiments in a safe, cost-effective, and engaging environment. Most importantly, with the power of VR, we can simulate abstract concepts, such as molecules at the atomic scale, giving students that added level of understanding they would never be able to achieve otherwise. And this is where VLab Education steps in. We have developed experiments grouped together into course packages sold to educators on a subscription basis depending on the curriculum, such as AP Bio or Intro to Chemistry. Each experiment is based off of real-world data and aligns with the next generation science standards. Each package contains a library of these experiments for teachers to pick and choose from depending on their course needs. Our software is modular and designed to work on any VR headset platform. Our goal is to ride the wave of VR headset adoption we can already see taking place. 60% of my students already have their own VR headsets, and companies such as Applied Materials and Walmart are doing VR training with massive success. Most importantly, with the power of every single big tech player, including all of those listed here, either have launched their own VR headsets or are set to launch their own VR headsets in the next 1 to 2 years. Industry predicts that just like how schools provide every student with Chromebooks, schools will be providing every single student with a VR headset in the coming years. Now, if you can't afford a $100,000 lab facility, there are some less than ideal alternatives in use, primarily in the category of science kits. These can range from $200 to $500 and oftentimes lack lab-grade equipment or glassware. Most importantly, many of these kits are lacking in scope due to safety concerns. There are some digital learning tools out there for your web browser. However, as a teacher, I call these click and drag chemistry, as they don't provide those students that hands-on experience that is so valuable to the learning process. There are some VR learning startups that are just now emerging. However, many of these either require a proprietary headset platform or attempt to be the entire curriculum and have you wearing the headset for up to an hour as a replacement for a classroom. Our experiments are designed to be a tool for the teacher and not a replacement of the teacher. As an added note, Prism's VR, which does exclusively math content, has just received their Series A funding for $12.1 million in a similar field to what we are doing. The VR education market is already quite large, worth $8.7 billion, and is predicted to reach $32 billion by 2026. The edtech market has grown explosively since COVID, worth $184 billion, and is predicted to reach $410 billion in the same time frame. There are a variety of customer segments which we plan to target sequentially. Our first target market will be the home and online school communities, where in the US, there are close to 4 million students nationwide. These students pay, on average, $350 per year on STEM supplies. Not textbooks, not curriculum, just the supplies, primarily in the form of those kits we previously mentioned. The money's already being spent. We just have to provide that cost-effective, engaging alternative for those customers to transfer their money to our product. Once we've launched this year and taken this 1 year to prepare and build that reputation and customer feedback, we will then launch in the private and public school communities. In the US, there are over 6 million secondary public school students and over 15 million private school students and over 15 million secondary public school students. Each and every one of these students, according to NGSS standards, needs to take 2 lab-based courses in order to graduate high school, preferably with our experiments. Our current go-to-market strategy is to use the home and online schools as our beachhead market. We will be targeting homeschool parents, teachers, and platforms at events such as the Great Homeschool Convention pictured here. We'll having these parents, teachers, and even the students demoing our product, as once you've tried VR, you become an adopter of VR. We will take this 1 year in order to prepare our product and polish with our early customers to prepare for the public and private schools. When ready, we will be targeting those overworked, low-budget teachers who are struggling to meet state standards and are struggling to keep their class engaged. We'll be going to events such as the National Science Teachers Association's convention and demoing at the schools themselves. We'll be having the teachers and students become our advocates in this community in order for us to form relationships with these schools to foster growth with our customer base. Now, here we have our revenue financial projections. And we understand that the ed tech sector has a high barrier to entry due to a word-of-mouth network. And this leads to a slightly longer runway than a standard startup. Not only do we know this, but we plan on leaning into it, as we are already fostering relationships with schools today, and we are prioritizing these relationships in order to build our reputation and to build our customers in our customers' minds, in order for us to enter this word-of-mouth network. Because once you're in a word-of-mouth, high barrier to entry sector, such as ed tech, your adoption rates and your retention rates go through the roof. Now, what have we achieved so far? At the end of April, Meta made their official statement to enter the ed tech space. And immediately following, I had an hour-and-a-half conversation with Meta's Executive Director of Education. Not only is he excited about our work, but he has requested a product demo, as he is putting a team together to partner with companies such as VLab Education to help Meta enter the edtech space at schools. We could be looking at, in the coming weeks, a partnership with one of the biggest companies in the world. He is currently beta testing our Intro to Chemistry package, comprised of 6 beta phase experiments. We will be demoing these experiments at the Great Homeschool Convention this June in preparation for our fall 2023-2024 school year launch. We are already pilot testing at multiple institutions, such as at Homeschool Campus, where students are not only using our experiments to provide feedback, but are actually using them to learn. We are testing at Sage Hill Private School, where these students are comparing with real-world data to make sure that our data matches what would happen in real life. Most importantly, we are testing at San Bernardino Public High School with some of their students pictured here. Their department chair, who is also their chemistry teacher, had just received word that their grant had expired and had not been renewed. And they are looking for ways to provide an educational and engaging experience to their students. We are having conversations with them in order to foster a relationship, as these might be our first public school customers in the coming years. We have a comprehensive team of designers, developers, and advisors behind us, including a sales and marketing executive who has over 6 years of experience in the EdTech sector, primarily in homeschools. We are asking for a $500,000 safe investment allocated to allow us to go full-time on this for 1 year to prepare for our launch, 30% for marketing and sales, 10% for software licensing, and 10% for legal, for patents to our competitors and to make sure we follow all student privacy laws. Thank you for listening, and together, let's revolutionize STEM education. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Great job. And if you have not yet tried VR goggles, Adam has a set at his booth, and you're welcome to test them out after the show. So it's a great experience. Okay, so thank you to our presenting event sponsor, Pacific Premier Bank. Again, couldn't have done this without you. Thank you so much. Next up, we have Andrew DeMille with Quantum Energy. Andrew.
Good evening. I'm Andrew DeMille, COO, co-founder of Quantum Energy, Inc., where we're bringing new data-driven insights to energy decision makers that maximize the financial outcomes of their investments while also optimizing for the health of you, me, our children, and our planet for the first time. Imagine for a second trying to make healthy decisions about food based on the cost and calories alone. No real insights into the fats, proteins, added sugars, the impacts the food's gonna have on your body, right? Do you see the problem here? A similar problem is being faced by energy decision makers currently tasked with investing trillions of dollars into clean energy projects based predominantly on cost and carbon emissions alone. No real insights into the impacts like air pollution, water pollution, climate change impacts, and more. The impacts of their decisions aren't being measured. It's time that corporations, utilities, and governments have these impacts available so that they can make decisions that are optimal for profit, people, and planet. Introducing the TotalView Energy Platform. So this is an AI-driven software as a service and API that is rolling up this nutrition label and bringing it to the fingertips of energy decision makers around the world for the first time. We help them to rapidly identify optimal projects based on cost and impact. We help them to report these impacts to ESG reports to help them capitalize on these investments, get better access to capital and beyond. And lastly, we help them to market a credible, robust, full impact story. So TotalView foundational research was done by my business partner and CEO, Dr. Daniel Howard. He's an expert in energy system optimization to include human health and environmental impact. This was backed by some of the most prestigious organizations like the National Science Foundation, the Environmental Protection Agency, the United Nations, and beyond. So we're targeting customers across the energy economy. You've probably heard of net zero, right? So there's tens of thousands of entities that are committed to net zero carbon emissions, like corporations, utilities, and governments. So we're selling into the corporations, utilities, and governments, and to the developers who are supplying them with their clean energy projects, the developers. There's tens of thousands of them, and it's not slowing down anytime soon. So this is a software as a service again. We sell license fees to the software. It's a highly scalable opportunity with often an 85% margin at scale. Clearly, the needs of corporations, utilities, and governments are a little bit different depending on how much they need TotalView, but on average, we're anticipating $50,000 in annual recurring revenue. These entities are already spending six figures, often millions, on data and analytics, and this is becoming more and more necessary every day. So now that you've seen how we make money off of one customer, let's do some simple math to show a potential valuation of $1 billion plus in the next 3 to 5 years. $50,000 annual recurring revenue. Assuming we can acquire 5,000 customers, there's tens of thousands of them. Simple math, $250 million in ARR. So at a 5x valuation at exit, this could be $1 billion opportunity. All right, so clearly with this much at stake, there's competition. I want to show you a few examples here and 3 key categories that I want to focus on today about how we're different. Environmental impact, human health impact, and life cycle emissions. So environmental impact, these other 2, Resurety and Engie, they're measuring just operational carbon. None of the other impact categories, they're really material, right? Human health impacts, nobody's doing this. Nobody's mapping emissions down epidemiological pathways that get to the actual impact on you and I. That's why we're doing this in the first place. Shouldn't we be measuring it? And life cycle emissions. Now this is so important. Everybody's focused on the operational carbon. Think about a solar panel. Does it have any carbon or any emissions impact? Of course it does. It's embodied in its life cycle and nobody's measuring it. So I want to show you how that works really quickly here. This is a big topic, but I want you to focus on that tractor in the top left there. Everything included in TotalView, we ingest these data sets that include everything from mining the raw materials for, say, a new wind farm or solar farm or battery, to the transport, manufacturing, distribution, the use or operation and end of life, and hopefully recycling. So this is the first time a comprehensive set of data is being brought to the table and integrated into an energy model so that we can fully weigh the trade-offs of our energy decisions and, again, make the optimal ones that create the benefits and outcomes we're looking for. All right, so in terms of traction, I want to share a quick story. A recent customer, Biozen Batteries. This is a company that's developing a new battery to compete with lithium ion. They're cost competitive, right? But they can't quantify their benefits beyond the cost of their energy that they provide. So they hired Quantum. We've developed their impact analytics that they're now bringing to corporations, utilities, and governments as a business tool, as a sales collateral to say, hey, look, all things being equal on cost, you got to buy us. Our stuff's way better. It has way less environmental impact and health damages. And the other key piece of this is that this is a product-led growth opportunity. Every customer is becoming worth many more because they're taking it to our key target customer segments on our behalf. So let me talk quickly about what we're really doing here. I talked about a nutrition label. What this is really doing, we're creating a new impact standard for energy. It's like a nutrition label for energy. We're accomplishing this through 4 key ways. The first is with the Clean Energy Buyers Alliance. They're putting us in front of 400 of the largest corporate energy buyers and project developers. The next is carbon accounting platforms. This is going to be a $10 billion industry in the next few years. The likes of Salesforce, AcreCloud, and Watershed, they are serving corporations to help them to keep track of their emissions and their impacts, and they are seeking partnerships with Quantum. The next is with the actual database itself. The Global Reporting Initiative is the largest sustainability reporting entity on the planet. And so we are working with them. We have a meeting next month to add these life cycle emissions and impacts to the standard itself. This will change the world. And then lastly, from a utility standpoint, we're working with the Electric Power Research Institute. They're at the epicenter of the global utility industry, have 450 clients around the world, and we're working with them to complete their story around their net zero modeling. This is a wonderful opportunity, and we're so excited about these channels coming to life to create the new impact standard. Let me share it with you really quick. You might be wondering, okay, so what does this look like? Here's a case study we did for Akamai. They're one of the largest providers of the internet. Let's just call it that. It's a content delivery network. This is an 18 megawatt wind farm, okay? On the left, you've got what are called carbon emissions, okay? The industry is doing this right now. It's important. It's just one little piece of the puzzle, but what about the nutrition label? Okay, here it is. I don't expect you to know what all these details are. You probably can't even read it from there, but here's the thing. Now the full impacts are being measured and accounted for, and Akamai has access to this new label to make better decisions, to report and market the impacts of their investments. This particular project, from the emissions reductions, resulted in over 1,000 years of human life being saved, okay? So from carbon emissions to life years saved. This is why we're investing in clean energy. Next up, almost $30 million in ecosystem benefits from the emissions reductions from this one project. All right, and then what did Mike Matera say? This is the director of ESG and sustainability at Akamai. So he says that now Akamai can see the positive impacts that they're making on the surrounding community in the world for the first time. This is made possible with the TotalView Energy platform. We've got the team to make this happen. So my business partner, Dr. Daniel Howard, he is the inventor of TotalView, an expert again in energy system modeling to include life cycle impacts and health and environmental impacts. Myself, I've had an opportunity to build a software as a service company before. The last company scaled to over 500,000 users in over 100 countries before it was acquired in 2017. And Dr. Rose Nash, she's leading our federal funding efforts. She is amazing and has a stellar track record of winning non-dilutive grants. And we've got a fun update there too. We've got an amazing team of advisors across the board. So Elise with Amazon, they're the largest procurer of clean energy. She's helping us from a marketing standpoint. Eric Steeb with EPRI, helping us with strategic partnerships. And Lisa Campbell has her finger on the pulse of ESG in the corporate world. So our funding to date, so we are so proud. We raised money from Cerulean Ventures. This is a climate tech venture capital fund. Just back in December, we raised $140K. And now we're at the final stages with NSF, the National Science Foundation, for a small business innovation research grant, the first phase of which is worth $256,000 in non-dilutive funding. We just got word that we passed the post-award verification. I hope that means that we're going to get the announcement of the official award really soon. It looks really good, so keep your fingers crossed. And of course, we're here today with the intention to raise with AngelCon. This will help us to complete the development of the TotalView API. It will help us to integrate our first API channel partners like Watershed and like Salesforce Net Zero Cloud, and it will provide us capital to move into a Series A round targeting early next year. So in terms of the game plan here, this is about getting acquired by an entity that has the relationships, reputation, and resources to bring this to the world, to bring impact analytics to the world at scale yesterday, right? So 3 to 5 years, but yesterday. We need to make this happen sooner rather than later. We're already developing partnerships with these entities. So I want you to quickly imagine yourself 10 years from today in the future. In this moment, are you a part of the solution? Right? I invite anyone here, whether we win this AngelCon competition or not, if you are value aligned with this mission, I would love to meet with you. And if you believe in measuring what matters, I hope you'll join us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Andrew. Great job. So, I'm going to take a minute to give you some information about CIE and SBDC, where we're located. We, as well as a number of our startups that you're seeing here tonight, work in downtown SLO at the CIE Hot House. It's an awesome 15,000 square foot space where we offer co-working and free coffee. If you're interested in flexible workspace and would like to rent a desk at the Hot House, please visit the CIE website or contact us for more information. So next up, we have Alex Stallman, CEO of Demo.
Hey everyone, I'm Alec, the CEO and founder of Demo. Just by show of hands, has anyone here heard of Travis Scott? All right, quite a few. So surely you're familiar with his hit song, Sicko Mode. If you're not, it has almost 2 billion Spotify streams and 30 collaborators. And because those 30 collaborators could not all fit in the same room, they had to collaborate virtually, which means they had to spend hours sending music files back and forth. Simply put, we take those hours and condense them into minutes. We are a software plugin that works seamlessly into the software that producers use to make music. And with one click, you do everything I just described. You can export and share all your stems. With one more click, you can add collaborators, and you don't have to worry about any of the version control. If you've ever collaborated on a Google Doc or Microsoft PowerPoint, surely you had to scour through emails to find all the different versions and pick your favorite one. No longer. To understand the significance of this, we have to look at how this was done before Demo. So first, what you would have to do is you would have to single out each puzzle piece of the greater song. We call these puzzle pieces stems. So one stem might be a guitar track, a bass track. You get the idea. You would have to single them out from your DAW. This is the tech that producers use to make music. They all use it. And finally, after exporting one by one, hours later, they show up on your desktop. From there, you could upload to a service like Dropbox or Google Drive, And then finally, producer 2 gains access. And the whole cycle repeats every time you need to send stems. Yeah, it's confusing. With us, all the confusion is removed. With one click, producer 2 has access to all the stems they need to collaborate with you. Here's an actual look at how it works. So with one click, you get this set up. With one more click, you can add a collaborator, as you can see in the top right corner. And all the organization and version control is done automatically, so you don't have to worry about it. Just do what you do best, working on music. So why is right now the perfect time to build this? Well, as you can see, cloud-based music platforms are already well sought after. Splice, a competitor we'll talk about more later, already has 4 million users and $500 million valuation. If you didn't know, collaborating is the secret to creating hit records. In fact, 49 of the top 50 songs on Spotify have multiple creditors credited. Remember the song we talked about in the beginning, Sicko Mode? That's the credits for it. You're not expected to read all those people. Just know they didn't fit in the same room. And lastly, cloud services, an already $500 billion industry, is expected to 3x by 2030. Here's a closer look at our market size, the music market. Of the 200 million content creators worldwide, 14.6 million of them are digital music creators. In other words, these are people using DAWs, the software we talked about earlier. And of that 14.6 million, which, by the way, grew 30% over the last 4 years, we expect to get 2.2 million of those users, which equates to a 15% market share. For context, Splice has 4 million, so we believe this is perfectly realistic. Our business model will look quite familiar if you've used services like Dropbox. The first 2 gigabytes of storage are free, then once you fall in love with it, it's $9.99 a month. With 2.2 million paid users, that brings us $263 million in annual recurring revenue. Here's a closer look at some of the other companies in this space. We break it into 2 categories. The first category will look pretty familiar. These are traditional cloud storage platforms like Dropbox, Google Drive, and as you can see, they don't check many boxes because they weren't made for music creators. And the second group is music collaboration platforms, which were made for music creators, but ironically, they check Lex boxes. So you're probably wondering, why has no one cracked the code? And the answer is actually simple. It's because none of these are made by music creators. Our team, on the other hand, has deep roots in the music industry. I have over a decade of experience working as a producer, writer, and publisher. Our software engineers working on this are either former professionals or hobbyists themselves. And simply put, we're not making something that we wouldn't use ourselves. Our go-to-market strategy will look familiar if you're familiar with that of Dropbox. We're utilizing a strategy called product-led growth. Simply put, this is the phenomenon in which the product itself caters to growth. In our case, each producer tends to work with anywhere from 3 to 5 on average, sometimes as many as 10. So onboarding one user really means onboarding as many as 10 users. So in order for us to drive value to demo, we need to make it extremely easy for them to invite their collaborators. As you could see earlier, it's only one click. This allows us to keep our customer acquisition costs extremely low. And we're going to kick this into a different gear, in fact, by offering certain incentives like 1 month free per referral and $0.5 gig per referral. Phase 2 will enact influencer marketing, in which we get thought leaders to further promote and evangelize the plugin. These people are typically doing product reviews on Instagram or YouTube and also have referral codes. Here's where we're at today. So far, we've added 115 producer networks to the waitlist. Actually, as of today, this is closer to 120. It's growing fast. We've already launched our beta as of last week, and we started to onboard our first 10 networks. The early feedback has been amazing. And next quarter, we'll close our pre-seed round. A year later, we'll acquire 5,000 paid users, and then 18 months later, we'll hit escape velocity, acquiring 15,000 paid users and 1.8 million in annual recurring revenue. In 2025, our grand vision is to enable a marketplace for music licensing. So you can think of the plugin as the solution to collaborating with people in your network. The question is, how do you collaborate with people that are not in your network, or maybe they're a stranger to you? What you have to do is buy a license to do that legally. That's what the marketplace is for. So why are we starting with the plugin? Simply put, our early adopters are begging for it. They love the beta that's out now. It's more capital efficient, and there's a quicker path to profitability given that it's a subscription model. The business model for the marketplace, though, will be a 10% transaction fee. So just to review, once we have all this content on our platform, with one more click, they'll be able to sell licenses to that content. Our exit plan is acquisition by major tech or audio software company. These are happening left and right. I just listed a few famous examples here you may or may not have heard of. Apple acquiring Beats for $3 billion, Spotify acquiring Soundtrap for $30 million, and Apple acquiring Shazam for $400 million. To date, we've raised $25K via SAFE from Sterling Road Ventures, and we're seeking an additional $275K to accelerate our customer acquisition journey to 5,000 paid users. Here's how we'll use the money. We'll use $90K to keep growing our waitlist and outsource and scale our direct outreach. This is how we've been growing our waitlist so far. $45K will be used for paid ads and influencer marketing. Another $45K to accelerate product development. And then lastly, $50K will be set aside to develop some defensible IP. Not here are 3 hardworking, talented software developers. And I do have one team member here, Paul. He's been instrumental in overall strategy and global scale. And then lastly, Avi, who has been instrumental with strategic partnerships. He currently works for Electric Field, which is the management company for the likes of Post Malone, Lou Bell. These are the biggest hit makers in the industry. So if you're like me and you love hearing good music and you don't want to wait hundreds of hours to do so, join us. Thank you.
Great job, Alec. Okay, thank you. So the Cal Poly CIE SBDC provides training services to entrepreneurs and business owners in San Luis Obispo County. Our next hybrid workshop is QuickBooks Intermediate, June 15th, led by Damon Watkins, who's here tonight, our CIE Director of Finance and Operations, who'll cover best practices for the online and desktop platforms of the QuickBooks software. So join us if you want to brush up on QuickBooks or have questions around QuickBooks. June 15. Last but not least, Emily Gavrilenko, CEO and co-founder of Ryde.
Thank you, Judy. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Emily Gavrilenko, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Ryde, where we're personalizing the long-distance travel experience for college students. Students are frustrated, and they feel trapped on campus because there's simply no good travel options to turn to. My freshman year, Thanksgiving break was coming up, and I was super excited to visit my family, finally eat a home-cooked meal, but I had one major problem. How was I going to get back home? And I looked at the bus, the train, the plane, and ultimately decided to take Amtrak back. And what should have been a 3-hour journey quickly turned into a 7-hour dilemma, where I had to wake up at the crack of dawn, find a way to get to the train station, and then deal with frequent stops and delays before I got to my final destination. And students that do have cars on campus have to deal with the painfully high cost of gas and often find themselves lonely and falling asleep at the wheel without someone to talk to. And all of these solutions just focus on getting from point A to point B and not on the journey itself. Students are already trying to carpool to solve this problem. Across the United States, there's 500,000 members of university Facebook rideshare groups, with 200,000 in California alone, who made 45,000 ride offers and requests looking for other students to travel with. And while this is the initial step towards organizing carpooling, these groups are extremely disorganized, and you have to spend hours, days scrolling, hoping you find a matching passenger. And that's where we come in. We're personalizing the travel experiencing, letting people travel hundreds of miles affordably and conveniently. Imagine a world where you can have door-to-door pickup and drop-off, with someone you can trust because they're a student just like you, and someone you can enjoy sharing that ride journey with, whether you have the same music tastes, interests and hobbies, and chattiness level, whether you want to talk the entire way or sit back, relax, and listen to music. And this is exactly the world we have created. College students, we're broke, but there's 3 things we never fail to spend money on, and that's food, travel, and entertainment. The United States student travel budget is $24.1 billion, and we're focusing primarily on the long-distance student travel budget, with 9.2 million students in the target demographic who complete about 5 long-distance trips a year and spend $70 per booking, leading to a total market size of about $3.2 billion for long-distance student travel. Our business model is simple. Riders pay a 20% fee per booking. Drivers get to name their own price. So if they name $25 per seat, we'll add on that $5 fee, and the rider ends up paying $30. And we're looking at additional revenue streams, such as driver fees, premium subscriptions, and university partnerships to increase our projections. We're focusing on creating the best possible ride experiences while staying well within a student budget. While taking an Uber might be convenient, for a 250-mile journey, that will cost you well over $600. Legacy long-distance solutions are also expensive and inconvenient and haven't seen any innovation in decades. Facebook rideshare groups, while they have grown in popularity in the past decade, are not designed for travel in mind, and there's no way to know if that person you find matches that experience you're looking for. Hitch is another carpooling marketplace, but they're not focusing on the student demographic, and their rides cost 3 times as much as ours. And there's no way a college freshman girl will get into a car with that creepy stranger off the street. And that's where we come in. We focus on creating the best possible ride experiences while staying within a student budget, enabling people to travel wherever they want, whenever they want, with people they can trust. We understand that sharing a ride can be scary, and that's why we make trust and safety at the forefront of everything we do. Our first step in building that trust between riders and drivers is verifying that everyone is an active student on our platform. We're currently working on implementing driver history checks and background checks to make sure we're letting safe people onto our platform. And our onboarding and training process teaches everyone about sharing our ride best practices so they're ready to get into a car with someone they may not know for the first time. And over the summer, we'll be implementing ratings and reviews, which helps keep everyone accountable and report people who aren't following by the best practices. So you've heard all about us, but how exactly does it work? So this all starts off with people entering their search criteria, such as their start location, destination, and departure date, and they'll immediately be shown all people that match their trip criteria. Then they can go ahead, browse the driver profile, see who else is in the car, and see, is this a journey I'll enjoy sharing a ride with? And if so, you go ahead, book, and complete your perfect ride. We launched on the App Store 8 months ago, and since then have welcomed over 3,800 students on our platform, who have traveled over 600,000 miles together. 2 months after launch, we implemented payments back in December and have seen an 88% increase in revenue month over month. A third of the students who have actually signed up have gone on to complete a ride, either as a paying rider or as a driver taking at least one other passenger. And 2/3 of the students who have tried us out have gone on and used us again and again. And these numbers will only continue to increase since we just launched our service. But let's put those numbers aside for a minute. There's real names and real faces behind all of these travelers. Shauna reached out to me just a few weeks ago, saying she's been telling all her friends about Ryde, and they're jealous of this community we have created here at Cal Poly. And already, we've started to see 11% of new signups of students coming from other universities purely through word-of-mouth growth. This year has been all about proving our business model and technology here at Cal Poly, and we're planning to expand to 2 new universities in the fall of this year. And finally, by year 3, we'll be scaling across California and eventually the US with our campus ambassador teams. So what exactly does launching a new university look like? Well, it all starts off 45 days before launch with our campus waitlist, where we'll be tapping into social media and our existing user base to generate hype around our service. Next, we'll have an extremely strong launch to build up our marketplace through our campus ambassador teams, who will be having on-campus booths, hanging up flyers, and presenting to clubs and organizations to build word around what we're doing. And finally, we'll mature the university with word-of-mouth growth through our incentive and referral programs, and all their freshman riders will come back with cars the next year, becoming our drivers. This year, we've had over 800 paying customers, with the numbers growing every single week. Next year, we'll be expanding to 2 new universities and implementing an additional revenue stream. And we've already had dozens of people apply from our next university, UC Santa Barbara, which will be expanding soon. And by year 3, we'll begin scaling across California, taking advantage of these network effects inherent in the service we're creating. Our team is made up of Johnny, Josh, and I, and our technical, business, and marketing expertise is perfect for launching and scaling our business. I have a master's degree in computer science, and it's prepared me to lead business strategies, operations, and product development here at Ryde. Johnny is focusing on everything consumer-facing, from our growth and marketing team to making sure everyone has that perfect experience on their first ride and all their rides going forward. And Josh is leading everything technical, making sure we're creating a product students want and love. And we have an incredible advisory board. Barry Lieberman is a go-to-market strategist and a serial entrepreneur with over 38 years of building companies, and he's helping us with our go-to-market strategies and our campus expansion plan. Kristen Wilkinson was the former global programs manager of trust and safety at Airbnb, and she's helping us develop our customer care policy and our trust and safety approach. And Brett Hartman was the former vice president and CTO for the business security group at Cisco, and he's helping us make sure we're meeting industry best practices in the service we're developing. Super excited to announce we're currently raising $250,000 to pay for legal and insurance, project development, and our marketing and outreach team. And this will all help us scale to 2 additional universities in the upcoming year and to finance company risk and liability. And this will all position us to an exit to a strategic acquirer in 4 to 6 years. If this is something you're interested in getting involved in as a mentor, advisor, investor, or if you have a student that wants to ride, please check us out at ridecarpool.com or reach out to me at emilyridecarpool.com or come talk to us after this presentation. Thank you so much for listening and joining us on this ride of a lifetime.
Great job. Thank you, Emily. So thank you to all of our finalists for working so hard over the past 6 months. And I think you'll agree with me, it was a hard choice, it's going to be a hard choice for our investors. They're a really compelling group of founders. Not only did they survive Pitch Prep Bootcamp, we also put them through 4 weeks of intensive due diligence. They worked really hard, and we're really extremely proud of all of them. So now that the startups have pitched, I'd like to ask our investors to please follow Liz and myself to the deliberation room located to the right side of the stage. And Madison Crum, our project coordinator, will be right up to walk you through the voting process for the Audience Choice Award. Thank you. Okay.
I'm not quite as tall as Judy. Excuse me a moment.
But thank you, Judy, and good luck to our investors. You've got a very tough decision to make. While our investors deliberate, the Audience Choice Award is now open for voting. Information on how to cast your vote is on the screen as well as in the handouts that you received when you checked in. Reminder that only attendees who registered before today and provided a unique email address for each individual ticket can vote for the Audience Choice Award. To cast your vote, scan the QR code or visit bit.ly/AC23vote, enter the email that you used to register for today's event, click the blue Login to Vote button, select your favorite startup, and save. Once you click Save My Vote, your vote will automatically be counted and you can log out. Voting will remain open for the next 10 minutes, right up until we announce the winner. And for those of you that are joining us virtually, voting links will be posted in the chat now, or you can visit that bit.ly AC23vote website link. And please remember, you can only vote once. And then after you have voted, head on over and donate to the GoFundMe campaign. Instructions on how to donate are up on the screen and in your handout. And then up next, we will hear from both of last year's startups who received funding from our investors to share their progress. First up, we have Donald Lee, CTO of Novocuff and last year's runner-up, receiving $70,000.
Thank you, Madison. Yeah, and before I start, I want to say thank you, AngelCon, for just giving a chance for updates and for us to share our progress. And more importantly, thank you for taking a chance on us when we were barely even a company last year. So my name is Donald Lee. I am the co-founder and CTO of Novocuff, and we are a medical device startup, and we are working to prevent infant mortality that's caused by preterm birth. And so a quick overview of what we're trying to solve in our device. And so if someone's diagnosed with a short cervix or insufficient cervix like this, we've made a device where a physician can insert it intravaginally and then can inflate a cuff to then compress it closed. And then a second balloon can be inflated to then adjust the angle of the cervix. And the really cool part is that throughout pregnancy, this device can remain in the patient and the physician can continue to adjust it to provide optimum mechanical support to the indwelling fetus. And so this was the concept that we started with last year. And so what's changed over the course of the year? So I actually wanted to touch on what hasn't changed. And sadly, preterm birth rates have not changed last year or even in the last decade anywhere in the world. And to drive this point home, every 40 seconds, an infant will actually pass away due to prematurity. And so this is a really hard fact for everyone to hear, but at Novocuff, this is at the forefront of our mind, and we keep it there very intentionally. And that's because even though this stat hasn't changed at all, neither has our grit or motivation to really fight this and then tackle this problem head on. And so today, it's still Amy and I as the two co-founders and the two only full-time employees. But what we have done is we've added depth into our council. And so these individuals and firms here, they're some of the best known and well-respected individuals and firms in the med device arena. And last year, we had one clinical advisor to help us. And over the course of the year, we added a few more. And these have been key in our development and also in really helping us champion our device as key opinion leaders in the maternal fetal medicine field. And last year, as runner-up, we won $70,000 to really help us get kickstarted. And since then, we've been able to raise $1.64 million. And so not only that, but we've chewed through our development. And so we've gone through 14 plus iterations. And here's some of the photos of what we've gone through. And the best part is through that development journey, we've actually found additional novel elements where we filed more patents to really make our IP portfolio more robust. And we've finally stopped iterating, and we've actually locked our design, which meant that we can actually go through benchtop testing and finish all of that to make sure our device functions according to our specification. And the little bonus add-on here is we've partnered with Cal Poly over the past year through the BMed department, and we actually had 3 master's students help us over the course of the year to help us with our testing. And so, not a paid advertisement from Cal Poly, but if you're in a medical device and in BMed, I would highly recommend do this because it keeps your burn rate low and the students get to use your project as part of their thesis. So it's a win-win all around. And because of that, we've been able to actually finish up all the benchtop testing and we've built all of our clinical units. And so it's been an exciting year for us and we've got a lot of things accomplished. And so what's on the horizon for us? And one of the biggest things that we're excited for is we have first-in-human safety studies coming up. And so that means we're right at the doorstep of being able to finally see if we can improve infant lives and outcomes and improve quality of life. So thank you for the chance for this short little update. And thank you again, AngelCon, for taking a chance on us. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Donald. Next up, we have Jim Kogan, CEO of AcreCloud and last year's overall winner, receiving $135,000.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for having us back. I have some good news and bad news for you. The good news is that I'm the last presenter. The bad news is Judy said that means you can't vote for us. as winners last year. Actually, I'm very excited that we are not competing against the teams that you saw because you guys are awesome. Good job. Yeah, give them a round of applause. So AcreCloud is a software as a service farm management company. We provide farm management software products for farmers and farm labor contractors. And as I explain that to people, they have no idea what I'm talking about. And so I like to use a little personal visual aid. So if you look at what I'm wearing and think Silicon Valley on top and Central Valley on the bottom, it's kind of the wardrobe version of a mullet. So we look at farming and the problems that growers face, and there are two huge problems that growers have to deal with. And the first is the availability of water, and then the second is labor. And we can't make it rain, except for our investors. So we decided to work on labor. And so the big problems that you face with labor are dealing with the lack of labor and then all of the regulatory compliance issues and scheduling it. Most people don't know that farm workers don't actually work for farmers. They work for farm labor contractors, and you contract with those people. So as a farmer, even though you are required from a regulatory standpoint of knowing who's on your farm and paying them, you don't actually get to do that. I keep hitting this somehow. So then our solution, our farm management software solution, actually allows farmers to schedule labor and work with farm labor contractors very carefully so that they know what's happening on their farm, and it helps with regulatory compliance and getting work done and actually keeping a record of it. So one of the things that happened last year, many of you probably know if you read anything about the ag world, it was the worst harvest in 12 years. And so there was a lot of crop failures among different farmers. So what a farmer does in that situation is they go to their farm, their crop insurance company, and they put in a claim. Well, one of the things that any insurance company wants to do is make sure you did what you were supposed to, and it's hard for farmers to detail that. So with AcreCloud, if you're on the AcreCloud Farm Manager platform, you can just run a report and submit that to your insurance company and say, see, I followed the best practices, and it makes those claims a lot easier. As I mentioned, in our business model, it's a software as a service platform. We charge $12 a year. It's actually $3 per quarter. This is what the platform looks like. And in the last year, since going through AngelCon, which was amazing for us, we incorporated right before the event and then had to build the company around this platform. So we hired a CFO, we revised our pro forma. We're working to convert freemium users. We had been used on about 3 million acres of ag land throughout California. For those who don't know what 1 million acres of ag land looks like, 3 million of them is approximately 27 cities of San Jose. We were able to hire a bookkeeper, CPA, project manager, and we're reworking the UI and UE to make it more capable of expanding and scoping up for additional products. And then we're looking at an ARR of $200,000 by the end of the year and more than double that next year. So we are looking for great partners. Like I said, you can't vote for us, but you can invest if you grab me later. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jim. It's so great to see how your company's evolved over the past year and for sharing the impact of AngelCon and the Cal Poly CIE SBDC. Voting for the Audience Choice Award is now closed. Thank you to everyone who voted. For anyone who would like to make a last-minute donation, if you're feeling so inclined, instructions are up on the screen. And now I will turn the mic back over to Judy Mahan.
Okay. Okay, great. This is exciting. I would like to take this time to thank all of our vendors and staff who made this event possible. So thank you to Slow Brew The Rock. And can the staff please come on stage? No, okay. Liz Fisher, Madison Crum, Lindsay Fowler, Nicole McAllister, Naomi Barron, Kristen Meal, and everyone else on the team. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, please welcome to the stage Sarah Santana, representative of our presenting sponsor, Pacific Premier Bank.
Tell me I was going to get in the middle of the stage. I thought I was going to be hiding behind the podium. So thank you so much. I'm so grateful to be able to represent Pacific Premier Bank tonight. As a local entrepreneur and a Cal Poly alumni, it really is an honor. We don't just show up. We don't just say that we're going to be here. We actually put our money where our mouth is. I'm really grateful, and I really want to just point out Brooks Wise, if you could just stand for a second. This man has served this community and this business community for decades. And he's the reason why we're always putting our money where our mouth is for these students. So you guys did an amazing job tonight. And I know you guys don't want to hear me speak. So thank you again for allowing Pacific Premier Bank to support you guys tonight. And let's give away some money. Yes.
Thank you. You don't want your phone? No. Okay. Thank you, Sarah, and thank you, Pacific Premier Bank. Up first, we'll announce the Audience Choice Award. We have raised $1,300, so thank you so much to everyone here in the audience. The votes have been counted, and we want to give a big congratulations to Quantum. Andrew, come on up. Congratulations, good job. Good job. Yeah. Okay. The GoFundMe campaign will remain open for the rest of the night, so please continue to support Quantum in their funding journey. This year, as we mentioned, we raised $140,000 in AngelCon Fund 6. The investors have decided to distribute this amount to 2 startups tonight. Our event winner will receive $100,000 and $40,000 will be invested in the runner-up. So we'll start with the runner-up. The runner-up and winner of $40,000 is Demo! Alec, come on up. Congratulations. Woo! Okay, and now the winner of AngelCon 2023 is Ryde! Congratulations, Emily. You have won $100,000. Woo! Okay. Well, thank you everyone for attending AngelCon 2023. I want to take a second. Liz is going to kill me. She hates it when I go off script. I'd like to invite all our investors to come on this stage because you guys are amazing. You've done so much great work. Please come up, all of you. Please, please, please. And Ryde, the Ryde team, come on up. Quantum, actually all the startups, everyone, come on up. I really want to recognize our investors. You didn't all stand up at the start. There is a little ledge on your way up.
Persuasive.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for coming up. Okay, we're missing a few. Sharon. Sharon, Mike. We're doing investors first, yeah. So just a snapshot of our investors. Like I was mentioned, we had 21 investors, but please give a big, big round of applause. Thank you so much. Now everyone else, come back up. Oh, Mitch! And then everyone else, come on up. Let's have Where's that? Woo! There's a check. Let's see. Okay, thank you. We appreciate the time and support that everyone here has provided to these amazing entrepreneurs. And from all of us at the Cal Poly CIE SBDC, thank you, and we look forward to seeing you all next year. For any additional information, visit our website, come talk to me, come talk to our staff. And if you have time, please stay for a little bit. I think the bar stays open for a while. Let's celebrate all these amazing entrepreneurs. Thank you so much. Thank you.